There was an ominous rumble and shifting of rock. The stope wall ballooned outwards under massive pressure. The once solid wall exploded into lethal rubble.
The only thing that saved me was my youth, that I seen it out of the corner of my eye, and I jumped in what they call a manhole. And the timber came down and protected me from getting hit with the boulders, the big boulders. I was black and blue from there to my toes, but I never had a broken bone. I had 2 sprained ankles.
It's hard not to believe in the Mcleod luck when you consider the life of Don Mcleod. The mine cave-in was just one of his narrow escapes. From unwittingly playing with blasting caps as a young child and being buried in an avalanche, to surviving blood poisoning, being the sole survivor of a car crash, and almost being swept away by a burst dam. These are just some of the adventures in his 88 years. Donald Mcleod was born in Stewart, British Columbia in 1928. His parents owned the successful King Edward Hotel, but hard times during World War II had Don leave home to make his own way in the world.
They had no money, barely enough to feed us, and there were 6 of us all together. So I was 15 or 16, and I decided I'd go on my own and let the girls get the benefit of what there was.
He left school in grade 10 and went to work originally on the pack trains, packing supplies into some of the remote mining camps.
I was a horse wrangler, and that really pleased me. I loved horses. And by doing that, I was servicing the mining camps.
Over the next 50-plus years, Don Mcleod worked every job in the mining industry, from prospector to mucker to CEO. He worked in an era when things were done by hand, on over 40 projects, many challenged by long winters and remote locations. The Mcleod luck followed him. In 1962, Don and his wife Krista, a nurse, moved back to Stewart. She ran the local 6-bed hospital where they lived. Don worked at the Premier Mine. His first job as mine manager happened by chance, when the existing mine manager quit during a tense meeting with a company rep.
I'm sitting there dead quiet. I hadn't said a word in this 3-way meeting. And finally I said, well, who's going to run this? And he says, you. So I stayed there for 2 years and managed the mine, built a mill. And I never built a mill before, but we did it.
Don, first of all, is a terribly honest person and a very straightforward person. He is able to, because of these characteristics, to bring people on side to his way of thinking and move projects that other people would have found very difficult.
Don has got the reputation that the handshake is all you need. The rest and backing it up in terms of the paperwork, the handshake was golden. He's a real man of character.
By 1965, Don was working in the Northwest Territories as a consultant for H.L. Hill and Associates.
I met Don Mcleod in 1965, and it was over the discovery of 20 million tons of this. This is 12% combined lead and zinc, and is ore from the Pine Point area on the south shore of Great Slave Lake.
John alerted Don to a problem with staking. Don returned and restaked the land.
He came up and restaked the whole thing, which means that the client company got the whole value of the ore body. This was the biggest ore body in the Pine Point camp.
That became the Pyramid Sphinx deposit, which made a lot of money for its shareholders. Don wasn't one of them. Watching others reap the benefits from Pyramid prompted Don to start his own company.
Because the market took off when we discovered the property, the ore body, and made them multi-millionaires. And I said, well, good heavens, if they can do that, so can I.
North Air Mines was born. Some good results at a property near Kamloops helped put some money in the company coffers. This allowed Don to invest in a property found by a dentist-cum part-time prospector. It became the Brandywine Mine near Whistler, British Columbia.
The first drill hole until the plant was built and the first gold was poured. It was it was under $8 million. You know, that's a modest exploration drill program today. But it was the first new mine built in British Columbia, not supported by a major mining company in decades.
By the time resources were almost depleted at Northair Mines, Northair Group had been established. In the 1970s, Northair Group built the Scotty Gold Mine near Stewart. In the early 80s, it fell prey to high interest rates and low gold prices. In the 1980s, Northair's Newhawk Gold Mines focused on the Brucejack property. Now being explored and developed by Pretium Resources, it is reporting some spectacular gold assays.
The time the Northair Group was finishing under Don's stewardship, you know, we had operations and development projects in many countries and thousands of kilometers from our home office.
Don is also known as a great mentor to young talent entering the industry. Exposed to his projects from an early age, Don's children were also inspired to create their own success in the mining industry. After having raised over $200 million for exploration and mining ventures, Don Mcleod retired as CEO of Northair Group in 1996, but stayed on as chairman and director of International Northair Mines Limited until 2014.
I kind of eased out because it was very tough for me to accept retirement. In fact, I still think about it. You know, I still think I should be there. You know, it's in you. You can't help it. Well, I couldn't have quit mining if I wanted to. I loved it. I was fascinated with gold.